So, it's all of these things, all created by humans. So you have to say to me, Arnold, what's the right answer? Well, we need to cull humans. Pity this whole flu scam was such a joke because we needed to lose a couple of billion, not what was it? 1 or 2 million or something.
Welcome to the show. Now is your time to shine. We're gonna have a lekker chat tonight.
Yeah, and we're in and live. Welcome, Arnold. Fantastic to have you on the show.
So there's no action replay if I say things. Eh?
No.
Be careful.
No action replays.
No, you're not going to cut.
It's live. It's live. But there's no rules, with this. And we've tended to have great conversations before, and nobody's got into any deep trouble yet. Yet.
Why do we have a locust problem?
Yeah.
Overgrazing.
Yeah.
Locusts are at their best in overgrazed ground. In fact, it stimulates them to breed. They go for it.
How does it work? They lay their eggs in the ground and just wait until it rains. What?
Okay, so go back to my conservation days 30 years ago.
Yeah.
All right? Was that long ago? Jeez.
No.
I thought I was 21. What happened there?
No, you're clearly
I was
not 21.
Okay, so anyway, so I go back to my conservation days. So now I'm walking a fence, Utenag area, right? 4 kilometers of fence. 32 bat-eared foxes and gin traps on the fence. Those slughuises under the fence. Yeah. Set by the stockman for lynx and jackal. Because they're killing sheep and goats. Yeah. Go to the farmer and say, listen, what are you doing here? Yeah, but jackal and lynx eat a sheep of mine. There's no ways I can allow that. Yeah. What do you think aardwolves, bat-eared foxes, all of those creatures do? What do you think they're digging and eating and all that kind of stuff? What do you think a lot of these birds do that we have persecuted to the edge of extinction by all of this poison? Yeah. They catch locusts, they dig eggs, we're killing ourselves, and then we all say, oh, woe is us, look at this amazing plague. We're the plague. There's only one plague, it's humans.
Yeah.
But the sad thing is, even though we're a plague, we will not accept responsibility for our actions, will we? We'll always blame something else. And when the time comes when we need to take action, we don't want to take that action. We'll rather stand back and hold ourselves holier than thou and let someone else do the dirty work and then criticize them for doing that dirty work and saying, well, So I think we were discussing earlier. So let's get into the topic of problem animal management, which is actually what I do for a living.
Okay.
So I need to look holistically at problems. Now, believe it or not, I do problem animal control. I do bubonic plague monitoring, collecting bubonic plague sampling. And lately I've been forced into quite a bit of rabies stuff because rabies is everywhere.
I'm brought in here with you, rabies or things with bubonic plague.
Yeah, probably the plague. I carry the plague around with me in my back pocket. Let's just see if I can find it. There's plague here somewhere. So, just as a matter of interest, plague broke out in 2 places in South Africa initially, and it was in 1900.
This is Black Death, basically.
Black Death, yes.
Yeah. Is that rats?
Is that politically correct?
No. What it was called the Black Death in the 1600s.
1600s. Just be careful of those terms nowadays.
Yeah.
So let's call it bubonic plague rather.
Plague,
The plague.
Yes.
Yeah, so Black Death. Okay, so what happened is in 1900 it broke out. Now the interesting thing, it broke out in 2 places. Port Elizabeth, Cape Town. Okay. The reason it broke out is rats were brought with horse feed, blamed the empire for horses for the Anglo-Boer War.
Okay.
And there was a station at Kucha, right? And in the Cape as well, in Cape Town.
Yes.
Right. So the horse feed was brought in, black rats came with it, they spread plague, we became plague endemic. So there's I've picked up plague samples fairly regularly now. So I know exactly what to find, what to look. But the thing with plague is it's not that deadly nowadays because we've got good antibiotics to handle it. If you know what's going on and you treat it, you should be fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Unlike rabies. Right? Very much unlike rabies.
I seem to remember an outbreak in the 80s, which was hectic. Was it in the 80s?
How old are you?
I remember the 80s. I was a teenager then.
No, you're right. No, you're 100% correct. There was an outbreak of plague in the 80s, yes.
Yeah. And I remember seeing those pictures on TV. It was quite terrifying.
So anyway, so this stuff all lurks in the natural environment. So the problem is that I have to play 2 roles. I love saving wildlife. It's my hobby. I have great fun doing it. I see I cannot even tell you half the things and half the weird things that happen. And some days I go home and I shake my head and I think, don't know how I made it laugh today. And it happens quite often like it.
I'm sure.
So
what kind of strange? Okay, while we're there, come on. What kind of strange animals have you picked up in the urban areas? I mean, I always think like what.
Okay, let me tell you one of my greats. That's from quite some long time ago.
Like that.
Right, so I get a phone call from the police.
Yeah.
There's a bush pig, right, in a garden in Kammer Park.
Just like. Okay.
So then they phoned me again. There's a bush pig in the house now in Kammer Park. So it's now 9 o'clock on a Sunday evening. So I get to this house in Kammer Park, right? Yeah. The police lights are flashing. There's cops with R4s standing on the wall. The owners of the house are outside the property, right?
Yeah.
So I said, no, bush pigs in the house. Jeez, this not impossible. There are bush pigs all around, so it's not an unusual thing. Oh, okay, well, let me go and have a look. I didn't have to open the door. The door was wide open. Walked inside, and there was a bush pig sitting on the couch watching TV. I mean, can you make this stuff up? No, you can't. Right? The bush pig was sitting on the couch watching TV. So the guy, I looked at this thing, and I looked at him, and I thought, pig, you someone's pet. So I scratched him behind the ear, and a proper bush pig, not a warthog or anything, a real bush pig, and a big one too. Yeah. Scratched him behind the ear like that. Yeah. I said, hey, come, let's go. And he walked out behind me, quite happily following me. And you could just see the deflation. The cops let the R4s drop, and they all climbed. Everyone went, and it was someone's pet that got out. But it was hilarious at the time. I mean, you come in, and here's the pig sitting on the couch watching TV. Absolutely fascinated by TV.
Is it good to domesticate something like that? I mean, it's a wild animal, isn't it?
Things do happen, and people end up with these animals. They end up with little piglets, sometimes deliberately, sometimes just by accident, and they become really, really tame. And pigs are quite intelligent, so they can provide great, but they do become dangerous as time goes by. And warthogs are particularly mean. A lot of people keep warthogs and domesticate them, but they're mean buggers. So you've got to be careful.
I mean, a warthog's a good.
When I look at the city, there are a couple of species that I regard as distinct problem species. Yeah. Egyptian geese.
Really.
Right, so
Philip is going to hate that one because she had lovely little Egyptian geese.
Oh, please.
But I've raised thousands
of them. I love them. They're cute. They're entertaining. But let me tell you one thing about Egyptian geese that very few people don't know. Yes. I get a phone call the other day from a school. Right? They say, Arnold, can you help? So I said, what happened? No. They had a pair of Egyptian geese and they had youngsters. Yeah. Youngsters got into the pool. Yeah. Right? Another pair of Egyptian geese came and they killed all those youngsters just like that. Egyptian geese are extremely aggressive.
Really?
Right. So one of my big problems is they keep attacking the owls in the nest boxes.
Oh.
Right. Okay. They are bold enough to try and... The only birds of mine in my raptor nest boxes can withstand Egyptian geese are the peregrine falcons. They can take them on in a fair... But birds like rock kestrel and that, they throw the eggs, throw the chicks out, and they take over the nest boxes. So now you look at Egyptian geese. If you went back 30 years, very few Egyptian geese. What's changed? All of the agricultural land suits them.
Yeah.
Their aggressive nature, because they take over a single body of water, and they then proceed, and they will kill other ducks, other ducklings and that. They will take over that water, and they just dominate.
Yeah.
And their capacity to breed, their breeding is never endless. There's no breeding season for Egyptians anymore. They breed the whole year round.
Sure.
So every time you look, there's 12 goslings. Now, the sad thing is, sweet and kind humans.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Let's throw some millies. Let's feed them. Let's keep them going. So what happens? Instead of nature sorting them out to a degree where when you have 12 babies, very few of them survive.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But no, they're raising 8 and 10 youngsters. And now we've got, instead of 1 or 2 babies a year surviving, and not only that, they're double clutching because there's lots of food in that. Yes. So now we've got 20, 30 babies. So as a result, we're sitting with 5, 6, 7, 800 Egyptians in a flock. So now you have to look. Now you've got to look at the much bigger picture. Now we're talking about the city. So all over, all of these dairy farms and that have thousands and thousands of geese coming in. Right.
Okay.
So if you look at America, one of their big problems with their water reserves is the vast amounts of geese defecating in the water because they virtually pollute that water to the extent that it's non-drinkable. So they have to have active elimination programs 24/7 to control the geese numbers.
Holy crap. Okay.
So the problem is you can love animals as much as you want to, but you also have to be realistic, and we have to control numbers in a lot of species, because not only are they negative to us, but they're negative to other wildlife species. They're negative to the environment. So now we look at crows.
Yeah.
Highly entertaining.
Yes.
Except you've got a black bag of rubbish ripped all over the place. Have a look at something else about crows.
Yeah.
What do? They mob and attack all other birds.
Really?
Right. So what happens is you get a flock of crows, they'll find a young owl, they'll beat it to death, they'll kill it and eat it. They have no problem doing it, they do it often. I get called how many times? owl wing smashed by crows, crows ripping along, owl chick they've caught, they've beaten off the parents, they take it. Why have we got so many crows? Because of all of the waste. The worse the waste management gets, the more the crows are. Right?
Yeah.
So now we sit with this problem, and what happens? What is the right way to do it? You've got to control them. So what do some idiots say? Western Cape, well, the crows are a big problem, they're affecting a lot of other birds, we'll have to put out poison for them. Exactly. That old crude fabric. Crows' numbers have to be controlled. I found them highly entertaining. I rescued one. I call him Jimmy the Saint. It's one of those white-necked ravens. If you ever seen the size of the beak on that thing, I tell you, it's quite impressive. It's about the size of my hand, literally. They're massive birds.
They are big. There's about 6
so you get the pied crow, you get the black crow, and you get the white-necked raven. And the white-necked raven's massive. He's the big guy. He's virtually pitch black, and you'll see he's got a white collar around his neck.
Wow, okay, yeah.
But he's a mean bird.
I think there's some of those up here in the valley as well. I see that and they're about 6 of them. Is that they're going in groups or?
Yeah. So, and the other interesting thing is, crows, anywhere vultures feed, are a major menace. They mob the vultures and they actually mob them off the carcasses because there's so many of them. So they're actually having a negative impact on vultures as well, and vulture feeding. Yeah. When owls have a really good nesting site, they're not going to come and hop into your box and say, oh, well, God, I like this place. But it works very well in the circumstance maybe we don't have nice big trees close by, because I've seen them attached on the side of, in Lorraine, I've got 3 attached to the side of buildings there, and they've all got owls that breed in them every year. Okay. So you can attach it to the side of a building quite high up, or that. But if you've got really big old dead trees, the owls are not going to just come wandering to your nest.
We've got an oak tree here, which we put up in the oak tree.
You can put it up.
It's been there for ages, but no bloody owls have come near it.
Because are you hearing owls?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, well then they've got a good site, so they're not going to use your site. Along here they would probably use the cliff faces and that are really nice. They would probably be breeding there. So if you want to hear a good story about an owl, old guy phones me, I want to put up an owl nest box. Yeah. So I give him, that classic information. Get it up as high as you can, 4 or 5 meters up, put the box, face it the right way, etc., etc.
Yes, what's the right way to face it?
Okay, face it, starting in the prevailing weather, blah. Okay. A year later, I get a phone call from the old guy. I've got my box up, but one of the babies is sick. Will you come and have a look? Oh, I kid you not. He put the box up. I don't even think it was a meter off the ground. The damn owl's bred in it. After me giving all of those careful instructions, 5 meters up, face it out the window, he puts it on the ground almost, and the owls hop in, they breed in it. I was so disgusted with those birds, really. That's the problem with animals. You know when you know nothing about wildlife, and you say, it'll never do that. It's like kids, horses and dogs. Right? Never say, it'll never do that. Wildlife will do what it chooses to do. So when you put an owl nest box up, I like 4 or 5 meters up. But like I say, you put it 1 meter off the ground, the owl's breeding quite happily. And there they wanted a suitable nest site, and that was good for them. It's in an area where there's not a lot of pressure, so they could breed quite happily there.
Oh, lovely. But
I get a phone call. Now this is just after this crowned eagle went through the house, grabbed Kitty out the other side, did it 3 times, 3 cats, Grim Reaper.
3 cats.
So I get a phone call from your suburb up here.
Yeah.
Listen, this house should be on top billing. I've never seen a house as magnificent as this. I felt like a peasant getting to the gate, right? There's almost like a butler to greet me. Anyway, the story is that a large eagle had come into the house, right, attacked them, and they'd had to get out the way. So, of course, there are crowned eagles in the valley at that time. So I'm thinking, juvenile crown, this is now the real stuff. I'm pretty chuffed now, juvenile crown, trying to take a kid, one less human, blah. Interesting record. By the way, crowned eagles have got quite a nasty record with that.
Really?
Yes, in the forests of Zaire.
Yeah, really.
You get the pygmies that do the forest, the slash and burn. What do? Take the baby off the back, put it in the shade of a tree, small baby like that. Adult female crowned eagle will take on a 3/4 grown bushbuck ram. I actually watched one day. Listen, it broke a road down the side of a cliff, literally knocking everything over, rolling with a bushbuck ram. So they're mean predators, and the youngsters are quite aggressive. They're not shy to take. I had one that I trained, a male, and eventually I released him back into the wild because he wanted to take my dogs all the time. As you got, Mr. Big Boy, then you thought, I like these dogs, I might have a dog flapper. Anyway, point of the matter, so now we come to the house that is the mansion and beyond mansions to save these people from this vicious eagle.
Yes.
Right? Now, please, folks, I mean, there was a colour TV probably bigger than your window on the wall. You know, all of the, you can imagine the scene, all of the decor and stuff. So in I go, I march in. Here's this lady, she's got 2 kids hiding behind her.
Yes.
Terrified.
Yes.
For shame, you know, these kids have been through real trauma. The crown eagle's pretty mean, you know. You've seen those set of talons that big, you know, chasing the kids around the house. Anyway, going to the kitchen. Where's this vicious bird of prey? Right, no sign of it. So, where's this bird? No, they think it's gone into the pantry. Going to the pantry, I kid you not, there was a baby Naznaluri. A pitch-back baby Naznaluri. And you know what Naznaluris do when they're scared? They jump in the air and they bite at you like that. Well, you know, I looked at it and I came out with it under my... In fact, that Naznaluri had its own story. But I came with it out under my arm and I thought, you know, this is why the world's screwed. This is why the world's screwed, people. This is where we go.
They can't fly very far. So
it was a baby. It couldn't even fly. It was still a downy. Didn't even have proper feathers. Just a little black puff going trying to bite everyone to protect itself.
And is that true that they can't they have to go down, or they don't go very far. They live in the valleys or in the valley because they can't fly very far. They have to be at a higher level to go to the next level. How do they move around? You know,
that story is very similar to the story of the Whakawi bird. You know the story of the Whakawi bird? Oh, there we go. Where'd you come on that one? Those things glide pretty well.
Yeah,
you know,
they do. I've seen them glide nicely, but I mean, don't they have to be higher than they were before? So they need to have tall trees.
No. I can tell you how I gained my.
Yes.
Listen, I can.
I was told that. I won't even bring up who told me that.
Well, rather let's leave that one out of the thing. Right, so I've raised more than the odd Naznaluri, and they're highly entertaining. So I'll let one go out of my garden, because I would like to see it come back every now and then and say hello and how things, and etc., etc. Now this one, it was destined for death. I've never in my life seen such a dumb bird.
Okay.
You know? Because what it would do, now my whole area there has raptors second to none, and a Naznaluri is hardly a speedster of creation. Right?
Yeah, no.
So it would come gliding from a big blue gum across an open field, like 300 meters of open field, where every peregrine falcon that's sitting on a pylon watching just sees a snack coming underneath to come say hello to me. And eventually I was too scared that the Luri would see I was in the garden, because if he was over there, he'd just come gliding and I would go, oh, where's the peregrine now? Where's the peregrine now? Anyway, so he survived and then he disappeared. And I thought, okay, well, you've got to eat him, boy. A year later, I go to a guy in Benkama. He's got a poison owl in his garden. He says, you know, pick up the owl's poison, okay, etc., etc. He says, you know, before you go, I want to ask you something. He says, I've got a nice little Luri that visits you, and it's got a ring on it. I said, oh, is it?
No way.
And he says, you know, it loves my granddaughter, and she goes outside and she calls and waves a banana and it comes to eat. That's after a year that bugger was still bumming off people. I had a couple of really mean experiences, Rattle. One of the saddest experiences was, and I'll tell you one thing, the girl got roasted, but it was, pisses me off the way people drive in town.
Yeah.
Right. Someone in Lorraine managed to ride over a honey badger. The most magnificent female honey badger. Now, you should be doing 60 k's an hour or less.
Yeah.
You know? You would see that. Anyway, they killed it, son did. That still broke my heart. But I've had a number of really mean calls with honey badgers. And, I mean, they deserve the reputation.
Yeah.
Because you will get honey badger, honey badger, honey badger, and honey badger will look at you and say, oh, thank you for saving me, off I'll go. And then you'll get one that'll say, listen, I'm going to sort you out. I just don't like what you did with me. And you and I are going to have a little conversation about this. So one night, listen, far tougher than you. I know how tough those buggers are. I've seen what they do to wire mesh and everything. And they are very destructive. So beekeepers hate them with a passion. And they really knock those hives and tear big holes and destroy hives. But anyway, I love those creatures. They're among my favorite because basically they've got a pugnacious attitude and they walk around permanently with their finger in the air to humanity and say, take that. I get a call one night, Seaview Road, 8:30 at night, quite a miserable night. The guy says, you know, we've seen this animal, it's not by a car, it's black and white. Okay. It's like those things you see on National Geographic.
Yeah.
Right?
Skunk.
No, like those things. So when you talk about Seaview Road, there's a lot of big black and white bushbuck rams.
Okay.
Right. So my first thought, it's a bushbuck ram that's got hit by a car. So off I go to go and see what's wrong, see if it needs to be euthanized, whatever's got to be done. I get there, and I see the people, they said they'll wait for me, and I see they standing on the back of the bucky.
Yeah.
And they're peering over the road. Now it's pitch dark, right? So I stop, I say, where is this animal? And they point like that over the road from safe distance. And with that, I hear this kind of low, angry growl coming out of Port Jackson next to the road. Needless to say, I go to the back of the buckies and grab a net quickly, grab a net that I feel is suitable for the job. I come around the front of the bucky, and this rattle comes out the bush. He chases me for 100 meters down Seaview Road, but right on my heels, snapping.
What is this? What is this thing? It's
honey badger.
Is it also
rattle.
what I call rattle? Okay.
So he chases me down Seaview Road, right? In the pitch dark, I'm running with a rattle on my heels. Eventually, he tires, I tire, he goes off into the bush, right? And he's still mumbling and growling and that, and he walks off. I've actually got a video of a rattle, and you can actually see the teeth behind my heels is chasing me after I released it. But not all of them. Some of them you just got to get the right one. You know, it's that right one that says, listen, I've had a bad day and you've just made it worse.
Screw you, man. We always, last couple of questions, always your most embarrassing moment or your most moment where something's gone completely wrong, and then your proudest moment. I know it's a tough one to just quickly spring on you at the end.
Okay, it was not embarrassing, but it was quite funny. It happened during my conservation career.
Yes.
So I get called to the Holy Rosie Convent.
Oh yes.
Now
yes,
there's a big
it's Philippa's school. That's where my wife runs her school from now.
Okay. There's a big male baboon, and he's been terrorizing the city for days.
Holy moly.
Right. So he's in the school grounds.
Okay.
Right. So my boss's instructions are, Arnold, he's got to go.
Shoot it. Yeah,
He's a danger. He's got to go. Go and do your job.
Yeah.
So I get to the convent. Now, you know, all those nuns, Mother Superiors, they phone me.
Oh, yes. Bless you, my son.
Bless you, my son, etc. That kind of stuff.
Name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
So now the whole thing is, right, that I need. Oh wait, I've got an even greater. You're going to love this one. But I've got an even better one. Okay, so the whole thing is that I need to do this without disturbing the children, blah, blah, blah,
or the nuns.
So, and you know, when you're a young guy and your boss has told you what you got to do, you're very careful. In those days, we had respect for the chief. You know, he told you what to do and you did it properly. So I haul a semi-auto shotgun out, jack some shells into it, right? And I'm now sneaking past the school buildings.
The shotgun.
But I'm trying to sneak with the shotgun, right?
Yeah.
So I've got it against my side and I'm sneaking, and the next thing a window pops open and Mother Superior pops out.
Yes.
Now what can I do?
Yeah.
Right, so just be blunt.
Yeah.
And she looks at me and says, oh, you here for the baboon, my boy?
What you doing?
Yes, I'm here for the baboon. He says, oh, I see you're going to dart it. Now, meanwhile, I've got this whole handful of shotgun shells. The shotgun full of 12 gauge. So I said, buckshot. I said, I'm going to dart it. But now, I'm starting to get a bit, now I can see already, the boss is going to have people phoning and saying they witnessed this bloody action. Anyway, I said, but they're very dangerous when they darted. Right? Yeah. So just keep the kids inside and keep everyone inside. Needless, I go and there's the poor old baboon sitting in the top of a pine tree and he's watching me, I'm watching him. We have a brief moment where our eyes cross and I shoot him stone dead. Drops out the tree, boom, on the ground. Now, I've got to get the dead baboon down the alley, right? Past all the classrooms, back to my vehicle without anyone seeing. I've got nothing to carry the baboon. I've got a shotgun and a dead baboon. Now, how do you get that back to the vehicle? So, I thought about it. Okay, well, pick up the baboon nicely, like a baby. Picked up the baboon nicely in my arms, shotgun across here. Now I'm walking. And I can feel the sweat running down the back of my neck because I don't want to offend people and have them phone the boss. I'm going to curse. And I've got the stone dead baboon with his head lolling. And I can feel the blood running down the inside of my shirt.
My word.
I kid you not, I get halfway, the window opens, and I look left and I look right, and there's just kids' faces stuck against the window or watching, and the Mother Superior. And she says, oh, you've darted him. I said, yes, keep quiet, he's sleeping. He'll wake up, just keep quiet. And I promise you I was rigid as I can. I was absolutely rigid carrying that baboon down the alley. And every window there were kids peering at me like this. And I could feel the blood running down the front. Anyway, I got it to the vehicle and there was never anything said about it. Obviously he darted. And she did phone a couple of hours later. I said, no, he's come around, he's fine, he's gone again.
It's all right, the Catholics can handle a bit of blood.
Okay, here's an even worse one. I get called 3 years ago. Sunday afternoon, Helenvale.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
I'm telling you, we're talking gangster paradise now.
Okay.
There's a monkey
Yeah.
trapped in a tree in a schoolyard. Let me tell you, you have no idea. Drugs and alcohol really make them go wild. So these guys are tossing rocks at the monkey. But you've got people standing on one side of the tree, people standing on the other side of the tree. And the rocks are going, bricks and rocks are going left and right, over the top. They're really hitting. And of course, when someone gets hit on that side, then they, instead of throwing the rocks at the monkey, they start throwing rocks at each other. Now imagine this, eh? You've got hundreds of drunk people. Literally, there's thousands of people there. The whole
There's a jaw happening.
Everyone's there. Everyone in the whole of Helenvale's there.
Yes.
The cops are there. The riot units there. The animal anti-cruelty leagues there. Everybody's there. Right?
Oh, my word. And the monkey in the middle of this.
And the monkey sitting in the top of the tree. There's no hope for catching him, etc., etc. It's just there's only one way the monkey's got to go, but he needs to go so he doesn't get mauled and injured, because they really do. If they get a hold of it, they maul them. Okay. Anyway, so the monkey's in the top of the tree. So I take my trusty silence .22 out against my chest. Now I've got to go. And listen, the police actually have to clear the way, because they are going ballistic. Yeah. There's just no control on them. They're almost uncontrolled. And the stones are flying and the bottles are flying and it's just going wilder and wilder. So I get my way through the crowd with the police's help. Now I get into the school grounds. First you got to lock the gate, go in. Now when I start walking, I just hear this chanting behind me. Sniper, sniper, sniper. Sniper. So the whole lot are just chanting. Sniper, sniper. So now I get into the school grounds. They must know, hey, this is not something I get paid for. This is I've got to do a favour. Animal Anti-Cruelty League said this animal's going to be badly injured. You need to do what's got to be done here. Okay. Get inside. So the kind lady from Animal Anti-Cruelty League comes and says, you know, Arnold, these kids see so much violence. Yeah. Can we not? I said, listen, the monkey's in the top of the tree. There's nothing I can do. You know, the monkey's not going to come any lower. He's going to stay right up high there. I've got to take him up from the top of the tree. Anyway. Now it's getting even wilder and there's a hum and everything. She says, listen, can you not do it in a way that they can see nothing? I said, no, it's impossible. I mean, it's an open school field, one tree, 5,000 people around, banging against the thing, throwing rocks and bottles. What can I do? So I take a nice rest on the side of the building, aim, beautiful shot, headshot, the monkey drops out the tree. Hits the ground, but as it starts falling, you just hear this crowd chanting. Skid on dat sy kop, bar, skid on dat sy kop. The whole lot of them are chanting. These little children are all chanting it. Obviously, the way they brought up in the game. It was frightening. It was a frightening indictment on the area and the people. And you have to have sympathy in that kind of environment. I mean, how did those children get brought up? And that's what they're all saying. You know, forget these children are not used to violence.
Well, thank you so much, Arnold. You're fantastic.
Now it's your turn to shine. We're gonna have a like a chat tonight.